We got 5.
One.
Mr. Caden just joined?
Yep.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yes.
Jim, you're on mute though. You know that, right?
I didn't see him. I don't, he's not visible here. Can anybody else see him?
Yes.
Yeah, he's here, Jeanette.
Oh, okay, good.
And just so the board knows, Mrs. Zampano is joining us telephonically with me in the boardroom here.
Okay,
Okay.
Yep, okay.
good. Okay, and may I have a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss personnel?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Motion carry. 5-0.
So you're gonna call us now, right?
6-0.
Yes,
Mrs.
okay.
Zampano,
Put yourself on mute now. Everybody put themselves on mute
I heard
or
you.
leave the room.
We're waiting for the phone call, right?
Yes, I'm going to call everybody now,
Yeah, yes,
go into exec session.
I heard him before you for executive session.
Okay.
Okay. How are you, Ally? Hi, Kim. Excuse me, I was just, got a lot of things I was thinking about. Okay, we're going into executive session. We'll see you at 5 to 7, okay?
Hi, guys. Okay. Who will return at 7?
There I am. Hello.
Few more minutes.
Yep.
We got a few more minutes. Hey, Joanne. Mr. Flynn's office, how are you?
Very well, Mrs. Santos. Thank you.
All right, we're unmuted.
Oh, video is on, and we can ask everybody to unmute.
Unmute. Okay, everybody, unmute. Peter, you're muted.
Okay, there we go.
Thanks, Peter. Everybody else, where is Brian and Jim?
I'm here.
I'm here.
You're there? And Brian, you're there?
I'm here.
Okay, okay. District Clerk, did you do the roll call already, right?
Yes, Mrs. Santos.
Okay, then please everybody stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the
To the republic
for which
for which
it
it
and
stands,
one
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
visible with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Actually, there's no visitors, right, Joanne?
Just the ones that are watching us on stream, and we do have Jessica Gratola will be doing the presentation, I believe, with Mrs. Johnson Dingle, for the Division of Discs tonight.
Okay, okay, welcome visitors. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, October 13th, 2020.
So moved.
second.
Moved by Peter, second by, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, I have a question. Is Marianne on the phone with us?
Yes, she is.
Okay, so Marianne can vote also. All in favor of the minutes approval?
Aye.
Everybody say aye. Okay, then it's a 7-0 pass. 7-0. That's nothing, 7-0. Okay. And then now we have a program presentation from the Division of Instructional and Support Services.
Thank you. Is Mrs. Johnson Dingle, is she available?
Yes, I am. I'm here, Mr. Flynn.
Angelique, would you mind introducing our guest speaker tonight?
Of course. Thank you so much, Mr. Flynn, and good evening and welcome to the Board of Education and all those who are watching. It is my absolute pleasure. Every single year, we have the opportunity to highlight one particular program or event from the Division of Instructional Support Services to really highlight some of the things that we do here. It is my pleasure to actually introduce our ELA and Social Studies specialist. Her name is Miss Jessica Gratola. And I have to say, at the beginning of the pandemic, she not only rose to the occasion, but she absolutely exceeded my expectations for the things that she has created for Western Suffolk BOCES. She will share with you this evening a toolkit that she created solely on her own. We didn't hire a web developer to do this for us. We did not hire a professional to put this together. She literally sat down on her own, listened to what districts, parents, families, and children needed, and created a resource that has not only been used throughout our 18 component districts, but throughout Long Island and even throughout the state and across the country. So with that, I am happy to turn this evening's presentation over to Ms. Jessica Gratola. Jessica?
Thank you, Angelique. Those are very kind words. I just need somebody to be able to give me the ability to share my screen, and I am very happy to be here with you this evening to share the DISS Western Suffolk BOCES Toolkit. Perfect. Okay.
Jessica, I don't hear you very clearly, so can you increase your volume?
Sure. Is that better?
I can hear, I hear.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you again for your patience while this loads. One of the first things that we did when we came together was realize that we needed to pivot. when COVID first came around. The first thing that we did was think about what we would need to give to our stakeholders in order to make sure that education could continue through such challenging times. With that being said, we created the online Western Suffolk BOCES toolkit. So when you go to the Western Suffolk BOCES toolkit, which I am going to walk you through here, I apologize. Here we go. When you first go into the toolkit, you will come to your home page. On the home page, you will be able to see the many, many extensive pages that exist within the toolkit. When we first started out with the toolkit, we solely started with technology and distance learning because we knew that was where our teachers, educators, and parents would need the most information. So we started with featured products such as the New Visions curriculum on distance learning. And we also offered tutorials for Google, Zoom, Apple, Nearpod, and Pear Deck, which were services that our districts were starting with and needed more information about when the pandemic first arose. From there, we were able to go from triage to transformation. When we first started, we wanted to make sure that this was a home page for people to see all of the workshops that we were working on at Western Suffolk BOCES, hour-long free workshops that were offered across Long Island and to our 18 component districts. Right now, we are in the process of transforming this into a page that still continues to impact teaching and learning for all of our 18 component districts and beyond. As you can see here, when we first started in March, when we first shut down, we needed to pivot from in-person webinars to online webinars. In March, we offered 8 webinars and had 364 participants. In April, our number of webinars rose to 145, and we served 6,065 participants that attended 1-hour sessions. In May, we offered 178 webinars with 8,267 people joining us in those workshops, all of which included not just technological webinars, but social emotional learning, cultural responsiveness, and behavioral management for teaching online. In June, we had a little bit of a drop because it was the end of the year. We had 53 webinars and 1,599 participants. Overall, we were able to offer over 384 hour-long webinars with 16,295 participants from across the state. The website is updated daily, Tuesday through Thursday, to provide the most up-to-date information and resources for our stakeholders. What you'll find on the WSB toolkit is quite a lot. We have everything from technology and distance learning, which is really how we started, to each of the academic areas, which all have pages from pre-K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8, and then 9 to 12, all tailored to specific grade levels. We have early childhood pages, virtual websites, virtual field trips, websites, nutrition, which was very important when we first started with the pandemic because people needed to know where to get their school lunches. So that was a huge page when we first started out. Physical education and health education, making sure that we have resources for parents to get their kids out and about and up and moving. Music and the arts, ELL instruction, languages other than English, information from the New York State Education Department, reopening information, parent resources, social emotional learning, library and media resources, outdoor education, special education, and last but certainly not least, culturally responsive teaching. When you click on each section of the website, you will see each area has a featured section. This is our ELA PK through 2 featured site. You will see it will show offerings that we have coming up for our pre-K through 2 ELA, as well as articles from Edutopia, and also other resources from things like Common Lit and PBS. So our goal has changed to really become a hub of information for our stakeholders. We are making sure that all of those inundated emails that you get to your inbox are housed in one place so that when you have the time to take a look and you want to find a great article about instruction or a great website, we have it here in one place for you. So the first thing that we have is an up-to-date list of all of our offerings from Western Suffolk BOCES. Instead of having to go to My Learning Plan, which you may still do, you can come right onto the Western Suffolk BOCES toolkit and see all of our upcoming workshops that we have across all of our academic areas. There are quite a few here. Outdoor learning has been a big draw. We also have ready to go science lessons that were created by our outdoor learning team, Dan O'Geary and his team. They have done amazing things for our pre-K through 12 students, and they worked diligently from May to July to get those lessons up here for teachers to take and run with right away. So when you go to the end of each of the science pages, as you can see, there are many, many resources on each of the pages. This is just the 9 through 12 science page. So when you scroll down, you'll see that there are lessons and activities that have been created. Anything from measuring a tree to backyard analemma, which I don't even know if I said that right. So I should probably be taking that lesson right now. We also had a huge call for social and emotional learning. This has been a trying time for all, including our students and our educators. So we offered a chat with a licensed mental health professional, Ms. Karen Kirschbaum, who works at DISS. The social emotional learning page also has toolkits, not just for our students, but for our teachers and for administrators to view on how to support emotional learning for their staff as well as their students. As you can see, there are quite a few resources here, and these, as I stated earlier, are updated daily on Tuesday through Thursday. Next, we have cultural responsive education. This was a huge outpouring. I run social studies, ELA, and remote teaching collegial circles for our component districts and beyond. And this was definitely something that has come up multiple times. So as we expanded, I made sure to include, of course, the New York State Education Department Cultural Responsive Sustaining Education Framework, as well as a plethora of resources from the state, as well as PBS, and also other free resources that were offered through multiple different programs. The co-designing toolkit has come in handy. I've had many requests for this through my emails. Next, we have articles to improve instruction. These are coming out all of the time. At the top of the page here, you will see the most recent articles. And as you scroll down, you can see that there are a ton of articles here on how to improve remote, hybrid, distance learning, and building those relationships across the board in all academic areas. There's one on here that I really like about how to connect with students when their Zoom camera is off, how to engage those students. And then lastly, a huge shout out to EdWeb, because they offer a lot of free webinars that are an hour long, and they allow our teachers to cozy up in bed in the after school when everything is done, and they can log on to one of these free webinars that are on here. Everything on this page of the website are all free. So these are anything that you see here, your teachers and your administrators can access for free. And the EdWeb, which I was giving a shout out to, when you scroll all the way down, as you can see, this is an extensive website. When you scroll down to the EdWeb.net webinars, what's really great about these is that if you can't make it during the time of the workshop, you can automatically get a free copy of the recording and you can watch it on demand anytime you like. That's why I said they can snuggle up in bed and watch those webinars. We also have a slew of parent resources. One of my favorite parent resources that we have here is way down at the bottom. Every month we get new calendars of activities to do with your children. They come from Action for Happiness, and you can see we've got all of these resources as we scroll down through the parent page. We had story time with President and Mrs. Obama, as well as health resources for keeping your kids healthy during this time. Each of these tiny little things you see here on each of the pages is also a resource. So as you can see, there's quite a bit here. Mindfulness, thinking about how your health is impacted by being at home. And here are those calendars that I was talking about. So these are updated every month. And we have our fitness challenges for parents, as well as these are our social emotional challenges. Get outside and observe the changes in nature around you. Sign up to join a new activity. We continue to survey our stakeholders to see what they need for these resources. So here's a little feedback from users. After the meeting today, I looked at the toolkit, very impressive, looking forward to sharing with my teachers. So it is very important that administrators share this out with their teachers. What a great resource, thank you for sharing. Here's another one, our assistant superintendent asked that I request to be added to the assistant soups of instruction listserv. He mentioned that there was a WSB toolkit that he wanted me to look at. So the word is out there and it is being used. And that is it for me. Any questions?
Yeah. Any questions from the board members?
Who are the primary users?
So the primary users right now are teachers across Long Island. Those are the people that are using it the most.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
how do you get word out to parents that there's a parent portal there?
We have been letting the teachers know that they can share this website with everybody. And so one of the first things that they did really in April, when we were getting the word out, when we had all of those people coming to the workshops, you know, those numbers, those huge numbers that we had, we were mentioning that at the workshops. If you need more information on these things, you can go to the WSB toolkit. And so we were linking the hyperlink directly into our Zoom chat so that anybody that was at those workshops would have this as a resource for themselves.
Can people sign up to get updates?
So people get updates. I have a complete listserv I send out when I do updates, probably about once every month and a half. When I have a lot of new changes that I can highlight, I email everybody to let them know, hey, you might want to give it a look. There's some new things up there, and this is where you can find them. I tell them specifically where they can find what they're looking for.
Anybody else? No.
And
Right.
with so much information out there, how do people not just be overwhelmed with all of it?
Right. And so really you hit the nail on the head there. So what we wanted to do was stop people from feeling like they were just getting tens of thousands of emails. So every time I get one of those 10,000 emails with information, I put it up on the website so that it's really just in one place for people to see. So it's not, you know, when you have time and you don't want to go through looking, hey, I thought there was something from Common Sense Education about a free webinar. You can literally just go to the WSB toolkit and you can look it up on there.
Very nice.
Okay. Anybody else? No.
And
Right.
and if I,
Oh, who was that?
I'm sorry, Ms. Santos, and if I could just add, back when we originally pivoted to remote instruction, every week when there was a different update, we would then here at BOCES then send it to each of the school district administrators, who would then send it out to all of their teachers and their administrators. And then they would in turn share it with their parents, or even some of the districts have actually posted our toolkit on their website as a resource because they found it so absolutely useful, particularly when we were at a time where we were all trying to figure out the best way to reach our students. So this has truly proven to be an absolute resource that everyone has benefited from. And I've even shared it with the state education department and some of the other BOCES to say, look at this wonderful resource we have put together. And we know that that was the catalyst for the state education department looking to build the same thing in addition to some of the other BOCES as well.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Jessica. Great job.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica, I just wanted to thank you for the great work that you did. Mrs. Johnson Dingle said it perfectly. When that pandemic broke, there was such a critical need for this type of support. With your graphic there, you showed there were thousands, literally thousands of staff that participated. Our BOCES didn't charge a fee. We just opened it up, and we had districts from all over Long Island and further tapping into those resources. So on behalf of the BOCES, thank you for the good work that you've done.
It's an honor. Thank you very much. Anything I can do to help educators, that's what I'm here for.
Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, now we will acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's report and executive the claims auditor report. Okay, now our executive officer's report. District superintendent.
Hi, yes. Good evening yet again. I'm back.
Hi.
And just a couple of things that I did want to share with everyone. The first has to do with CARES Act funding. There was an updated application that had been released in order for districts to gain access to federal funds that had been made available in regards to preparing and dealing with COVID-related items. Those applications have been shared with each and every district, and it does have a new deadline by November 23rd. So please do get in those applications. The second thing that I would like to share has to do with transportation reimbursement. On Friday, every district received an email from the New York State Education Department highlighting that due to the way that education law is written, that unfortunately that the state does not have the authorization to reimburse school districts for expenses that were incurred with transportation when it did not involve transporting students to and from schools. This is something that we were all surprised by, because essentially we know that school buses were kept in play because, number one, at the beginning, we weren't sure when we would need our buses to start running again. And number two, because a lot of our districts were under contract and were obligated to continue making those payments. And then more importantly, a lot of districts use those buses to either deliver meals to families at home, in addition to technology and homework needs. So districts were quite surprised by this. However, the state education department has vowed to, in next year's budget, look to rewrite in statute that would allow for districts to receive reimbursement between the initial part of the shutdown, which was March 16th, all the way through May 1st or 2nd, when the governor finally called that he would no longer allow school to be in session for the remainder of the year. So while we were surprised by this memo, we are happy that the state education department is looking to make some adjustments to help districts out in regards to this. My final topic is actually a happy topic that I'm so excited to share with you. On Friday, this past Friday, November 6th, the three BOCES collaborated to offer a virtual student forum. And this student forum was put together for students to share with teachers and administrators about their experiences in school. Some of the topics that students reported out on had to deal with social activities, social emotional well-being, challenges that they faced during the pandemic, social justice and the school's role with it, in addition to just how students are doing with instruction overall. I am happy to report that the forum was an absolute and amazing success. We had Commissioner Rosa give some opening remarks. Regent Tillis also addressed the group and expressed how important students' voices are. And we totaled out with having 114 students from 55 school districts participate in this forum. Some of the general themes that came out is that students do feel that their teachers are trying the best, but they absolutely feel overwhelmed by the amount of work that they're given. We had some students express how they have become essential workers to help support their families due to job losses, and how that impacts their ability to complete their schoolwork. It was not a dry eye and listen to some of the children talk about some of the challenges that they have faced. But what was great about it is that they had a place, a safe place, where they could express their authentic self and clearly articulate to the adults what they are experiencing. So while we as adults are all stressed out trying to figure out how to manage, so are our students. And I cannot wait until the feedback from all of the students. It will be compiled into one report and then shared back out with the school district. So while it was tough to hear some of the experiences, it was really good for teachers and administrators to hear this. So we have been asked then to look at possibly doing this again for students and districts. We've received a number of accolades and thank yous from across our components and across Long Island, congratulating us on a job well done and just really thanking us for giving students a place to have a voice. And that concludes my report.
Very good. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No, I have one. In regards to the buses, you said that they were going to look at for a budget for a next budget so they can, so it'll be different next time. Would that money be coming to the district retroactive?
Yes, so what they are essentially looking to do in the 21-22 budget, which would have to go through for next year's cycling, is looking to put something into place where they would then be able to reimburse districts for those expenses that were incurred during that time period. So that is the plan.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, now, Mr. Flynn.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to start my comments off by thanking Mrs. Johnson Dingle. Western Suffolk BOCES hosted that forum among the 3 BOCES on Long Island, and Mrs. Johnson Dingle provided all of the work to make that a success. So I wanted to acknowledge her and thank her for that effort, and it was widely praised and positively received by all members of the community. The second note is this December 3rd, we were supposed to be hosting our annual board dinner where we invite our component board members in to share the expertise of our CTE students. And it's a wonderful social night out for the board members and for our board. We obviously had to postpone that and cancel it this year. But we will recognize our component board members. We have our CTE secondary students in our fashion design program. They're hand making cloth face masks for all the board members, and our photography students and our art students have created note cards, individual note cards that we're going to print up and send out to all the board members, just acknowledging our appreciation for their support of the BOCES programs. And Mrs. Santos will go with those items that we're going to mail out to the component boards. The other issue of newsworthiness is the change in our Brennan Middle High School program that occurred this past Monday. Again, accolades and appreciation to Mrs. Nancy Wilson, our Executive Director for Special Ed, and to all of the special ed administrators. as well as to our career and technical ed principals and Mrs. Kelsey. We've been preparing for the possibility of moving from in-person to remote instruction on a moment's notice, and that's what we did. And it was seamless. One day the students were in school, the next day they were being taught through remote learning. Wanted to thank all the teachers in that program, all the staff in that program who have worked so diligently since September to make this transition occur so quickly and so smoothly for the students. Also, last week, we opened up our James Allen Elementary Annex School in Deer Park. We did that in order to provide opportunities to take new students into the program, in order to also provide additional space for that program in terms of social distancing. Very, very proud of our staff. For the 2 weeks prior to the opening, after working a full day at the James Allen Elementary School, the teachers that were going to be transferred down there into the A classes, you would find them down at that Abraham Lincoln facility every day, decorating the classroom with students' artwork. And everyone has transitioned into that program so seamlessly. Thanks to Kim Cooper, the principal of that program, to Miranda Molesky, the assistant principal, as well as to Mr. Lenzer and Mrs. Mary Jean Alamina, who's acting as the administrator in that site, as well as Mrs. Gavina, who's a teacher coordinator. So very, very happy with how that turned out. And the Deer Park School District has been a great partner, supporting our efforts to open up that building and get it up and running. So we thank Jim Cummings and the entire Deer Park administration for their assistance. And then finally, just to give a brief update to our public members. With our COVID-19, we've had 11 positive cases since the beginning of the school year. 4 of those have been staff members and 7 have been students. All the students are secondary students, and we've had no secondary spread to any other student or staff member as a result of those 11 cases. Want to again publicly thank all the staff for complying with all those safety measures, wearing a face mask all day long, which is not an easy thing to do, but it is working. In our special ed division, we haven't had one student case, and many of those students are not able to tolerate wearing a face mask. So appreciative of all the work that the staff is doing to make our program successful and safe for the students and for the staff. So Mrs. Santos, that concludes my comments, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Warren, Chief Finance Officer.
Thank you. Thank you so much. On terms of the capital projects, you have the report. We've had some activity in the items that are marked that have had changes since the last time. But I did want to kind of re-summarize where we are with our the totals on capital projects. If we look at the projects that are still in the design stage, there are currently 26 of those projects, a little over $5 million. We have 6 projects currently with SED, facilities planning for review. That represents about $6.5 million. And we have 22 projects in work in progress, ongoing now for a little more than $7 million. So we continue to work along in pushing through to try to finish the design work for this year's projects. We continue to try to answer the questions with SED and facilities planning so we can get the those projects down the road. And we have workers on the job every day or almost every day on the 22 projects that are that where the work is ongoing. So I'd be glad to take any questions.
Does anybody have any questions? No? All right, thank you very much. No questions? We'll go on. Okay. Now, I would like to have a motion for items for board action number 9, 9.1 and 2. May I have a consent agenda for both? Okay, you have a question, Peter. Peter, you have to unmute yourself. You're muted. Peter's muted.
I was
Okay,
just saying, making the motion. So you
okay,
saw
you
me.
make a motion. Peter made the motion. Who second?
Second.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion passed, carries 7-0. Okay, now, number, okay. Personnel, 9.2, may I have a consent agenda for 9 to 1 to 9 to 5?
So moved.
Mrs. Santos,
Yes,
9.21 through 9.27.
Remember, we have a revised agenda.
The other agenda.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong agenda. Jeanette, wake up. Okay. All right, let's start again. May I have a motion to accept agenda 9.2, 1 to 7?
So moved.
Any questions? No. We moved, oh, wait a minute, sorry, moved and second? Who's second? Peter.
I'll
Peter
second.
Okay, any questions? No, no question, being none, may I have, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 7-0. Thank you. All right, now, agenda items 9.3, 1 to 6. Right, Michael? Okay, may I have a motion for 9.3, 1 to 6? Moved in second. Jim, you seconded? Okay.
No, I moved it.
You moved. All right. Second, I thought I heard a name. Anybody second?
Second.
All right, moved in second. Any questions? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries 7-0. Do we have any old business? No. Any new business?
No,
No new business, no old business. May I to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Eileen, and then, oh, okay, no. Mary Ann moved and Eileen second. Any questions? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn 7-0. Everybody have a great week, month.
Safe.
Please stay safe. Wear your mask anywhere you go. Even when you're in the car, wear your mask. Okay? Promise? Promise? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.
You've been
Bye.
great.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Aye.
Happy holidays.
hi, everyone.
Okay.
Mary Ann, thank you very much. So we're gonna end the call, okay? And you have a nice holiday tomorrow.
Thank you. That's right. I gotta go march. I have to march tomorrow. Hope it doesn't rain. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Okay. Be safe, please. Be safe. Okay. I like your hair. You're welcome. Okay. Now, let's see. Leave meeting. Okay. Leave.
Tim, you have it? Tim,